Welcome to this week's episode of Uncovered for Pole Dancers, a podcast created by pole dancers for pole dancers. I'm your host, Stephanie Quinn. Before we dive into this week's episode, I would love to give a special shout out to this week's sponsor, Pole Fitness Studio's instructor certification program, designed by the world's first ever pole dancing instructor, Borneo. You can find out more information about their instructor certification programs in the link in the show notes. If you're anything like me, over the last couple of months, you have probably been following all the Snoop Dogg pole dancing excitement that's been happening all over Instagram. Nicole the Pole Williams has been giving pole dancers from all over the world an opportunity to essentially live out their dream and perform on stage with Snoop Dogg. First of all, I think it's really amazing that Snoop, one, has pole dancers on stage, and two, the opportunities are given to local dancers. And today I'm interviewing two girls who were on stage with Snoop at the Brisbane show, which was, it's been about a month now. I think it was early March. Dani and Bek, they're actually best friends and they got to dance together on stage for Snoop Dogg. So in this episode, we talk about the audition process, the lead up, what it was like being on stage, and of course, if they got to meet Snoop Dogg. So stay tuned as we dive in to all things Snoop Dogg. Welcome to the podcast, Dani and Bek. They have recently been on stage with Snoop Doggy Dogg. I don't know how else to introduce him, but Snoop Doggy Dogg. I feel like that's appropriate. So today we're talking all things being on stage with Snoop Dogg. So welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You excited to share your experience?
Yeah, I'm super excited.
We have so much. I feel like the whole night, we've been talking about it so much as well, like through messages. So it'll be cool to let everyone know what happened.
To relive it again, I guess. So.
Yeah. And Jenny, because you did a Q&A on your Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah, and I had so many questions. So I feel like we can maybe go over some of them as well.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Well, let's just start at the beginning. How did you hear about Snoop Dogg and pole dancers on stage with Snoop Dogg?
Do you want to go first?
I think you should go first for this one.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
So I had not heard anything about it until actually Bailey Hart sent me a message being like, hey, here's a link. Snoop Dogg is coming to Brisbane. I hadn't even heard anything of it. And this was just like a few weeks before the show. And she's like, he's hiring dancers. I think you should apply. So I did. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I don't think I'll get in, but it'll be fun to say, like, you know, when I'm an old lady, I auditioned for Snoop Dogg. I didn't actually think I would get in. Anyway, so I put in a video the next day. And this was kind of before it had gone viral. So before Nicole the Pole had actually put the link out for everyone. And I hadn't heard anything. And I was like, I don't think I got in. Like Maddie Sparkle, Dirty Birdie, and Ruby had been announced.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, okay. If they're in, there's no way I'm getting in.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, they have huge followings. They're like elite pole dancers. I was like, that's okay. Like, I'm so happy for them. It's going to be amazing to see pole dancers on the stage with Snoop Dogg. And then it was like the Friday the week after. So I think like 8 days after I'd auditioned, I was like at home on the couch in my pajamas with my fake tan on because it was floor play the next day. And I have like my phone pop up and it's like a WhatsApp message from Nicole the Pole saying like, hey, Dani, are you free to chat about your Snoop Dogg audition? And I was like,
sorry.
Literally my heart was like pounding out of my chest. And I was like, do I reply straight away? Like, you know,
Does this look desperate? Like if I'm like on it, like, yeah, I'm free right now.
Yeah. I was like, you know, it's like when a boy or like someone you're interested in is messaging you.
Yeah,
I don't want to see your phone. I was like, I'll wait a couple minutes and then I'll reply.
You don't even want to like leave it. You don't even want to read it because then they see when you read it, it's like, oh no, I've got to like keep this at bay.
I know. So I was like, screw it. Like, yeah, I'm free. Anyway, she like FaceTime me and I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, hey, Dani. And I was like, oh my God, hi. I was like, sorry, I'm in my pajamas, blah, blah, blah. And she asked me like a bunch of questions. I think she just wants to get to know you.
Yeah.
She asked me some funny questions. I think she asked me like, what's the first body part you wash when you're in the shower?
Yeah.
And I was like, my titties. I was like, definitely my titties. And just like random stuff.
Interesting. Complete side note, I also wash my titties first.
Yeah.
It's like where I start. That's where you get it soaking.
Soak it up and work your way down. So yeah, that. And then she actually was like to me, I actually didn't think I'd got in because she was like to me, you know, I've watched your video. It was like dope. But like then I watched your Instagram and I was like, whoa, kind of thing. And she's like, tell me about your like video like entry. And I was like, oh, like I put so much pressure on myself because I was like, you know, I never get nervous, but for some reason I was like, I'm actually really nervous to film this.
Because you really wanted it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I overthought it.
Yeah.
Like I liked it, but I don't think it really showed my true style. Anyway, she's like, do you have another freestyle video you can send me? And I was like, do you mean like anything?
Or does it have to be? Because the audition had to be to a Snoop song, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
She's like, no, send me anything. So I'm like madly going through my phone, like, oh my God, what do I send her? Anyway, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to send this. And I sent it and she's like, okay, cool, I'll call you back. Anyway, she calls me back after she's watched it. And she's like, so are you free on whatever the date was to dance with Snoop Dogg? And I was like, really? Really? I was like, I thought you were calling me to say that I didn't get it. And she's like, no. And I just started crying. I was like, oh my God. And Bailey, my dog, was like, what's wrong, Mom? And I'm like, I got into Snoop Dogg.
And Bailey's still like, I have no fucking idea what's going on right now.
Yeah, but I was yeah. So that was my little audition story.
On a side note, are you guys both Snoop Dogg fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
We listened to the same music.
Yeah,
and
Beck
we
and I.
bonded from the beginning, like when I was at Dani's studio.
Yeah.
Because we like the same music, rap,
Yes.
hip hop, R&B.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
amazing. I knew I'm like, I know Danny's style of music, so I knew Danny was a fan, but I'm like, I'll just ask just to double check.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And Beg, what about you? Because you were hold on, we should probably rewind 1 second. Danny was the first Brisbane dancer announced.
Yeah.
And it took a while to announce the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like 4 days before, 5 days before
Yeah.
the actual show, the others were announced.
Yeah.
I was the last to be announced. And I found out 3 nights.
It was the Friday night.
late Friday night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
By that stage, I'm like, I didn't get in.
it's not happening. So how did you find out about it, Beck?
So I was actually having a little bit, and I do this quite frequently. I have breaks on social media where I will post content for my students to tell them what I'm teaching. But I was having a little bit of a break on social media then, just because work gets overwhelming, and then I just need to avoid going on my phone at night.
Mm.
And Dani texted me. So she texted me going, oh my God, there's this thing going on at the moment. I got into Snoop Dogg. This is not the actual words, by the way. This is just me saying.
These are the paraphrased conversations.
She would have said it in a way more refined way. And then she goes, you should enter. And they're looking for local Brisbane pole dancers. It's up your alley. It's your style. It's our music. So then I thought, oh my God, like, luckily I'm working from home today. I'm literally just going to film something during my lunch break.
Yeah.
And then I filmed it in my lunch break because it was a requirement to do a 2-minute video to dancing to one of his songs.
Yes.
It's in the list that she's compiled.
Oh,
And
so she
then-
gives you a list of songs.
Yeah, there were like a
Interesting.
select 5 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that, and then 2 90-second support videos to show your style, and then I actually freestyled those as well. So they're all Snoop. So my videos all Snoop. I submitted it, and then thought, can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear. Yeah, yeah, you can. Sorry, we didn't go through that yet. Look,
Sorry.
I've already dropped the F-bomb.
And I'm like, fuck it. If I get in, I get in. If I don't, I think it's already like, I feel like I have bragging rights already that Snoop Dogg, I auditioned to be a pole dancer, and already that is something that I can be proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that opportunity came up. So I did that. I told Dani, I'm like, hey, I did a video. I don't know how good it was, but I did my best. And then when I got into the studio, because then I started like, I'm going to log in. I'm going to look at Instagram. And then I realized it is like a massive thing. But then I saw Dirty Birdie, Maddie Sparkles, Polka Dot Ruby, the people that got in. I'm like, oh, I don't think I'll get in. That's what I thought. I'm like, I'm not big enough. So I said to Dani, I did the best I could. We'll just see what happens.
Yep.
And then from then, when I got to the studio that night, my student was like, there's this competition going around. I'm like, hey, yeah, I know about it. She's like, you should enter. I'm like, I already have. So she'd be messaging, like checking in, like, did you find out if you got it? And every night I felt like I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Waiting to know.
Yeah, the anticipation to find out. And then I had to follow, and I don't look at stories, but I had to like follow her stories to see, because that's the only way she announced it.
Yeah.
So then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to eat semi-healthy as well, just to avoid bloating. Like, I have to be strategic. That's the way my mind works. I'm like, I'm going to eat healthy just in case there's a chance I get in. And then, because I entered to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I found it on the Friday night. Friday night came around. I ended up deciding to go, I'm going to do pole training. Ended up training. I'm like, that's it. Fuck it. I didn't get in. It's late Friday. I'm eating whatever I want. And I said to my partner, I'm like, we're going out for ramen. We're going to go get ice cream. We're going to have milk tea. I'm going to eat whatever. We did that. Got home. And as I got in the door, I see the message. Hey, Bek, it's Nicole. Can we have a chat about Snoop Dogg? And I look at my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. And he's like,
what do I do about all this milk tea I just drank?
I know. And he's like, straight away, he's like, is this Snoop Dogg? I'm like, yes.
How good.
And then I did the questions and the.
Did they ask you what
the same? I had the same question. Questions? And what's your favorite food?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. There was like, what star sign are you? What do you like to do when you're not polling?
Yeah. With the star sign one, I'm like, oh, I'm a Gemini. And you know the response you get when you say you're a Gemini.
Yeah.
And also I had really bad internet connection.
Oh.
So that was really bad for me in terms of like, she's like, what did you say? I'm like, this is going to ruin it.
I'm not getting into Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. And then the first person I called was Dani.
I was actually driving home from teaching and I saw Bek come up on my like car thing and I answered. I was like, you got in! Like before she even said anything, I was like, you got in! And we're both, I swear, we're just like screaming on the phone.
Yeah.
That is so great.
I even feel like how I felt, like how when I was on the phone with you, just couldn't believe it. Like it's
crazy.
Unreal. So surreal.
I think it's even better that you guys are like good friends as well. So you got to go through this experience together. And I do think the way that they were setting it up when you're looking at who was in the WA show, the Melbourne shows, the Brisbane shows, they were all huge, well, what we would call celebrities in the Australian pole world. So I think it's so amazing that the people that hit the Brisbane stage were not the best of the best pole dancers, which I think is a real testament to you guys. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, I'm just so happy I got to do it, Dani.
Honestly, we
felt so comfortable. Yeah, just doing it together and dancing together, and then like having eye contact every now and then. And like, oh, Steph, she's throwing money on her, like like that's my girl.
That's so amazing. So you would have. When was the WA show? Was that before you got announced? Because that was the first show.
I can't remember.
There'd already been a show. There'd been multiple shows before ours.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she had delays in telling us, like when I was announced, because she had to apologize because she said, I'm just doing show after show. And when I get home from a show, I'll look at 15, 20 videos and it's exhausting. So she had to make my chat with her really quick because she just finished the show. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that she did Western Australia and
Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. So you guys are announced for Snoop Dogg. You're excited. What happens next? What's the scope? Like, are you told what you should wear?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we weren't told what to wear. We were told to bring lots of different outfits and shoes.
Just bring as much as you can.
Yeah. Because I think some of the states like coordinated outfits or had matching outfits and stuff. We didn't. But yeah, I went and bought some new bikinis and then you went and bought some new like stuff. So we kind of had like a similar vibe going on the night, didn't we?
Yeah, I had to ask Dani. I'm like, oh my God, straight away, what have you done? Because
Where are you at? Because I'm like,
I need
however
help.
many days behind you.
I need help me. And I just spent the whole weekend buying outfits, buying shoes. I couldn't get my makeup sorted or hair or anything. So I
so
had
last
to
minute?
buy makeup. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at the shops looking for colours, lashes.
It's
and
kind of exciting though.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty fun. And
Because
it's just
everyone's
used
like-
to spend money.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, what are you shopping for?" And you're like, "Oh, just a gig that I'm doing." And you're like, "Oh, where at?" And you're like, "Oh, just Snoop Dogg."
Yeah.
What were the responses?
I think at first, you know, where we got our bikinis
Yeah.
from, she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, me and my friend, we're dancing for like Snoop Dogg at his Brisbane show." She's like, "Oh my God." Like, you know, like people are just like, "What the hell?" So it was a cool response from people.
What type of clothing did you go for? Obviously, the
The
sexy.
skimpiest thing we could find.
You had to go all out. You had to get like a really super, whatever made you
Feel good.
super
Yeah.
sexy, and that you're dancing for Snoop like the Godfather. So you wanted to be like, this
The
is
Godfather, I
everything
love
that I
it.
can come
Yeah.
up with for you.
Literally. And I think it's cool because when you watch like all the videos from all the different like countries and states, like everyone's wearing their own style
Yeah.
of clothing, which I really think is really cool.
Yeah.
Everyone shows their own style. So,
Yeah.
Did you guys go for the weed paraphernalia vibe?
We didn't have any like clothing with weed on it, did we?
No, we didn't. I didn't own anything like that. And then I didn't even,
We just went for like
Think of it.
glitter, like stripper
Sparkle.
style.
yeah, what we liked. Because we were
I want to wear it
chosen
again.
on the basis of our.
You're like, what else? What's something else I can do?
Yeah.
I can wear this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were chosen on the basis of our own individual styles.
Yeah.
Like she definitely said that. Like, I loved your style, what you brought to like the table.
Mm.
So like bring that. So just outfits, choose what you would like to wear,
Yeah.
and then not think of it as what would someone else be wearing. So we just all brought our own things and just shared it on the night as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Most other girls just said, "I've got this," and just shared outfits around, which is really
Oh,
nice.
that's really good.
Yeah.
So, what do you think they were looking for? Because obviously, so many people have auditioned for this. What do you think they
Mm.
were looking for in like your unique styles? I guess.
I think like energy and stage presence
Yeah.
Yeah, energy.
over tricks, even.
I think energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, over tricks.
Even
it wasn't about tricks.
Well, I think like, you know, it's awesome if you could do tricks, but like with the energy that you can still hold while in tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stamina that you
'Cause, like,
could keep going.
You need to give that energy out to the audience. Like,
Yeah.
there's like how many 14,000 people were at our show.
yeah.
Wow.
So like, you can't just be dancing and like looking down. It's like you had to project that out.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's a skill. Like that audience engagement is a skill in a small poll setting, let alone
Yeah.
14,000 people looking at you setting. Just a wee bit different. So how many songs did they say you'd be dancing to?
Like 7 to 8
Mm.
in the audition. They said 7 to 8. And I think that was what we danced to.
Yeah, I'm trying to count.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of
around
them were
8.
like shorter versions of
Yeah,
songs. Like
yeah.
he would only like rap his
Featured part.
featured part and then it would go
yes.
into another song. So
Yeah.
Mm.
So it would have a little bit of that. So the day comes.
oh my God.
What does a day look like?
Oh my God.
Well, I found out so last minute that
Yeah.
I couldn't cancel work. I still had to work
Wow.
Monday, Tuesday. Luckily, I was able to change it to work from home, but I had really important meetings on both days, and I was very nervous for them already. So, like planning.
And now you're like, all I'm thinking about is me dancing like a boss ass
Honestly.
bitch on stage with Snoop Dogg.
And Beck's in this like corporate meeting. Like,
So honestly,
Yeah,
I
what do
was
you do for work,
so-
Beck?
Oh, I work in contract management.
Okay, so very, very professional.
So in this one meeting that I've been planning for, and I knew that there was some high executives in there, and they scare me, and I get nervous. But I remember thinking, "Fuck it, I'm not nervous. I'm dancing for Snoop Dogg later. So I don't give a shit." Obviously, I didn't care. Obviously about my job, but
Of course.
it just made me lose the nerves because like there's more than to just work,
Yes.
and that I have a great personal life outside of work, and that I should feel confident no matter what I do, and I had something to look forward to later. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And we were like just messaging each
All
other
day.
all day.
Yeah.
From the moment we woke up, we're like, it's Snoop Dogg Day. And like, yeah, we were just like messaging the whole day. Obviously outside of your meetings, but
Yeah.
So like, excuse me, can you just hold on a second? I just have to message my friend about Snoop Dogg tonight.
yeah. So,
So did you have a group? Because there was 4 Brisbane people selected, yeah?
Yeah.
So did you have a little group chat going?
Yeah. So it was us two, Lorena and Bonnie, and we all had already like made a group chat beforehand. So I feel like as soon as we all found out, like we made that group chat. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Dani made that.
Because we hadn't met those other 2 girls before.
No.
Yeah, they're from the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Lorena's from Sydney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's just been in Brisbane, I think, for like a working kind of holiday type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
Then you got to dance on stage with Snoop Dogg.
I know.
Mhm.
And they were both really lovely. So it was
Yeah.
cool to like all
was
get
fun.
excited, and it was fun.
So on the day, so you had to do your own makeup back.
Yeah.
I did not.
I'm okay with that because I used to I like it.
Yeah.
I don't think my makeup was. It was.
You
Doing
look
it
beautiful.
myself, it was good.
It looks beautiful.
But then I was looking at everyone else. I'm like, holy damn! I should have got it done professionally.
You
But
found
it
that
was
last
too too
Yeah.
late to get it booked. And then with work till 2:00, I could only take 1 hour off to finish at 2. Wasn't enough time for me to drive anywhere, and that worked out well
Mm.
because I found out that I ended up having to pack and bring my X-Pole.
Yes, that was last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a stage malfunction, so we had to then, I had to change schedules and then arrive early.
Mhm.
I couldn't end up doing my hair because I didn't have enough time, so I had to just tie it up, and then I had to get there first.
Thank
and
God
make the
high
girls tie it up.
ponies are like in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it worked out because that meant no hair in the face while dancing, although that's probably, I like
no,
that.
you looked good. You like whipped it around. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, what time did you have to be there?
6:30.
Okay.
So you got there a little bit before, obviously, because you had to
I had
last
to
minute
get there
take the
by
poll
5.
Yeah. So when did they set the polls up? Like
before we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you must have found out it finishing at 2.
Yeah, I found out when I finished work.
Yeah.
So I was about to do my makeup. I'm like, I better
Shit.
do this real quick.
Yeah.
Because my partner was at home, like, I have to put that heavy ass stage in my car. And then he luckily got home and I said, can you do that? I'm quickly getting ready.
And for reference, the Brisbane Entertainment Centre where it was held is notoriously bad to get to when there's an event on.
Oh,
Add like 3 hours to your trip.
literally.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
No matter where you come from, it's just not in a very good location.
And that's what
Yeah.
we were most stressed about, right? I feel like
Mhm.
leading up to the event, all of us were like, oh my God, like when are we want to make sure we're there on time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got there around 5.
I just got on 5.
Yeah. And then Lorena, Bonnie and I, we got there around 6. And it was so funny because you rock up and you're like, okay, how do we actually get in like
Mhm.
backstage?
So you didn't
And-
have this like information?
No, not really. So we get there, right? And we're like to the traffic people, we're like, oh, we're the dancers for tonight. Where's the artist entry? And guess what? One of the old like traffic, he's like, yeah, sure you are, the dancers, and pointed us that way. And I was like, I actually just think he sent us with the general public. And I was like, maybe people do this all the time, pretend that they're going backstage.
Yeah. I guess girls dressed up to Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
you could probably anticipate that
Yeah.
was a thing.
We finally got in. Another really lovely lady believed us. I was like, no, actually, we're the pole dancers. And she's like, oh, yes, come this way.
So, that was one question I did want to ask. After the WA show, there was so much in the news about Snoop and groping dancers. How did you guys then feel? Like, did that help you set up, like mentally prepare yourself for the night to see what was happening? How did you feel about potentially being on the front of the Daily Mail? Is the Daily Mail like, do you know what I mean? Like, did you think about these things? Like, did they come to mind for you?
So I found out about that article because my boyfriend sent it to me and his sister sent it to him.
Oh my God.
Saying like, just so you know, this might happen. And then he told me about it and he told me like, I don't care. Like, you do whatever you want.
It was
Just
about,
have a good
Yeah.
time.
and it wasn't like, it didn't look I guess to the general population, it could definitely look a particular way, and they tailored it to appear a particular way.
Of course.
But when you're a pole dancer and you're watching that, and you're like, oh, that's really
Literally,
That's
like,
nothing. We want that. Like,
appreciate this booty. Like,
I work
honestly.
hard for this shit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, I honestly looked at it. I was like, what do people expect? Like, if you watch any rap video,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, I think Australia is very different to America, though. Like, you could do that in America and people wouldn't even bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe here, everyone's like, oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe. I'll be a bit more conservative.
I reckon.
Yeah, interesting.
A funny story, because I rocked up first and security had the same issue. Luckily, I got in easier because I said, I am a dancer. I've got a pole in the back.
At least you had a pole.
And you could see like the whole package and whatnot. So then I got through. And
It's like nobody just drags around an X stage to get into Snoop Dogg.
So then I got through, and then it took a while to figure out because I think the security company that was there was still figuring out what they were doing. So when I'd ask them, no one knew where to send me. So I stood at the front entrance from the back, which I was meant to go around another way, but I didn't know that then. So I was there for a good at least half hour with this administration security guy. He wasn't security, but he would check people in, but he wasn't a part of the security.
Yeah.
Are you passionate about dance? Do you want to teach pole dancing or open up your own studio? My name is Fania Mundy, and I began teaching pole dancing in 1994. And my focus is helping people like you fulfill their pole dancing dreams. We all have a journey, and perhaps your path is in enrolling in my pole dance instructor certification. Visit my website for more info at polefitnessstudio.com.
Because it was quite awkward and we were just sitting there like just waiting. He ends up like asking me like, how do you feel about that article that came out?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's like, what do you think about it? Like, what if you get your ass slapped?
You're like, I hope I do.
And I said
You're like, I will not wash my booty for the rest of my
yeah. I'm like, I have no issue with it. I think it's cool. I'm like, if you're a performer, you're dancing, you're having a good time. It's like a massive party. Like if it happens, it happens, and there's no harm in it. And then I said the media will want to portray it as whatever they want.
Yeah, for clickbait.
Yeah,
of course.
exactly, to make money off it. And then he's like, yeah, totally agree. That's so cool. That was
You're like, okay, back to awkward silence for the next 25
let's
minutes.
sit here.
The extent of our conversation. So did you guys get there before Nicola Pole? And so you guys were there hanging out.
Yeah.
What was your dressing room like?
It was pretty small. But luckily we were all ready. Like all we had to do was get changed and warm up.
Yep.
But it was cool. Remember when we got there, they took us out and we actually got to walk into the stadium when it was empty.
Ooh,
and go
that
onto
would've
the
been
stage and like test the poles. And that moment was like, oh my God, we're actually dancing for Snoop Dogg.
That's when it hit you. You're like, yes, this is real.
Was it interesting being in such a large environment with no other people in it? Apart from like the crew and stuff?
I guess it was like trying to imagine what it's going to be like when it's full.
Yeah, and I think
because Brisbane was a sold out show too.
Yeah.
It was cool to see it backstage as well because I've never experienced anything like that. You'd always go to a concert, you'd be coming into reception and giving your ticket and sitting down, but to see it from the back and people running around organizing it, and it can seem like sometimes like a big chaotic mess because everyone has their own roles. You don't know what they're doing, but then it just all comes together. Yeah, which is really amazing. And then I feeling the privilege of being able to see that.
Yeah, really and experience something that you would never
Yeah.
most people wouldn't experience.
And like,
Yeah.
remember walking backstage and it like you could see Snoop Dogg's change room, and
Yeah.
then you could see D12 and like
Yeah.
October, like all these
Yeah.
people, like celebrities, and you're like, and then
I'm
there's
sure.
our dance, the change room.
Like,
we are the dancers.
this is us. This is us. And like sharing the space with these people who you've listened to
Yeah.
and you've watched only ever really on a TV. Has Snoop been out to Australia like since we've been adults? Because we're all similar age, I would guess.
I feel like he did, and then he maybe wasn't allowed into the country at some point for some reason.
Probably
But-
not surprising.
But yeah, anyway, he came back.
He came back. And you guys are there. So what happened getting ready? What was that vibe like? What were you girls thinking, feeling, talking about?
It was just like a big party.
Yeah, it was really fun. I feel like everything, like, it was a little, for me, like, stressful just rushing it. But the moment I saw, like, Dani, I feel better. I'm
Yeah. Especially because you were there now on your own. Because
Yeah.
I assume you would have planned to go together.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had,
Yeah. And you were
I
there.
just remember backstage, like we kept grabbing each other.
Yeah,
like, and we were like,
and they probably told us to the side, like, this is real.
oh, it's so funny. I know. Like Nicole, and then Nicole came.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went out and tested the polls again and whatnot. And I think she then ran us through everything. Like, we needed like what songs we were doing. We got the set list because Snoop does a different set list in each venue.
Okay, yep.
Sometimes he keeps it the same.
Mhm.
But yeah, we did that. And then she told us, yeah, we have to be side of stage the song before we're meant to go on, so that we're just super organized, ready to go on
Yeah.
the stage.
Once you were on the stage, were you on the stage for the entire night? So you
Mm-mm.
came on and off?
There were
Yeah.
like sets. I think the most we did was 2 songs in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And they weren't full length songs either, were they?
Some were,
Okay.
some weren't. Yeah.
All right. So that first time walking out on stage.
Oh my God. Maybe like, I feel like the feeling when we walked from backstage, because we had like little tents either side backstage.
Yeah.
So Beck and I were on the same side, obviously.
And then
Bonnie
did you guys
said
get,
away.
did you guys get to pick your
Yeah.
sides? Oh, that's
Yeah. We like dibs together,
Yeah.
and then we just decided that side.
Yeah.
And they were like, we had like a little tent change room off the stage where we would get changed in between sets and whatnot. So we
That's-
walked out, and like this was maybe like 10 minutes before Snoop was about to come out. So the
Okay.
audience is like full.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it's noise, you can feel the energy.
Because
And
he
we
would have
went-
had supporting acts.
Yes.
Yes.
They'd just finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were hyping them up.
So like I think they were just
Mhm.
getting everything ready on the stage, like
Mhm.
last minute stuff.
So did you get to meet Snoop beforehand?
Uh-uh.
Okay. So the,
We'll get
the
to that. We'll get to
suspense is waiting. And then this will keep people listening to the end of the episode. So that's where you see a lot of them when they're sharing their stories of walking with all their bags
Yeah.
in all their kit
Yeah.
to the side of stage. So you had change rooms there, so you didn't have to go all the way back to your
Yeah.
change rooms. What was the distance between that? Is it a big space back there?
Do you mean from the tent to the stage?
No, from the tent to the change room.
No, it wasn't far.
No, not far.
So it's all pretty
No.
So close.
So close, like 30-second more.
amazing. And the first song, what was it?
I was the next episode.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's where they do the stop moment.
Oh, yes.
And like you have to
Mm.
hold what you're, or you don't have to, but that was like, so the whole thing was freestyle, the whole show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All they tell you really is like, have fun, like give energy.
hmm
She only warned us about that moment. Like if you want to,
Do something
yeah.
and coordinate just to that one moment
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it stops and it goes silent. So if you want to hold an INX or an Aisha,
Oh, who was it?
Mishka.
Mishka.
yeah,
She held like a bloody Iron X. It felt like for like forever.
It felt
and then
like
went back up.
Yeah, and then
just
went
casually,
back up.
just casually. Oh my God.
Crazy. I know that is. I don't know how many people have sent me that moment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like non-pole dancers generally, like, look at this. I'm like, Dina, guys.
Yeah.
It's
and the audience
amazing.
went crazy in that part as well. I think we all
Yeah.
held like a handspring variation. All of us. So yeah.
And that wasn't coordinated. That was just.
No, we all just decided. I think, yeah. I feel like that's the easiest one. No, I shouldn't say that's the easiest thing to hold,
No.
but it's effective.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you could hold like a jade split, which
Yeah.
would still look cool. But yeah, I
feel
guess
like your body off the pole.
people
looks
are
cool.
like, holy shit, you're
Even
holding
non-pole
shit.
She's
dancers.
upside down. It's just her hands.
Yeah.
Yes. So had you thought about what you would do for that, or were you just like in the rhythm?
No.
You don't get much. I personally felt like you don't get much time to think. Even afterwards, I'm like, oh, that went really quick, and I don't even know
What I did.
if I. Yeah. need
Did
to
I
see
just
my
body
video.
roll for like 5 minutes and not realize?
Yeah. But I think like everyone, you have your own go-to moves
Yeah.
that everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we were doing multiple songs as well. So I think over the night I did like 3 Jade splits because like it was over 3 different sets, and that's one of my go-to moves. You know.
Yeah. When you freestyle, you generally go to what you're most maybe comfortable, like your go-to signature trick, or else maybe what you've been working on most frequently.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, like I even
Did you do
split.
random moves that you haven't done
But
for
I'm like,
years?
I haven't touched that in a while, but okay.
You're like, I can still do that. Wow.
Yeah. And then some tricks, because I couldn't train, because I trained the Friday, I didn't want to get sore, so I didn't train any time before.
Yeah.
I just thought in my head, I want to do this trick, but the things that I thought of, I actually didn't even do
Yeah.
when I did like try to plan
you're in the
a little bit.
moment.
Yeah, in
And
the
the
moment, it
energy
just
from the
changes, and you work
crowd.
off that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what they're cheering for and what they're excited for, I
Mhm.
guess. I had a question and now it's
How did you feel back? Like the first song you did?
Oh yeah, because I wasn't
were
on
you
the
not
first
first?
song.
Yeah.
So what was my first song? Wiggle.
We went out for Wiggle, and
Yeah.
then you did Gin and Juice at the front.
Yeah. Well,
Wiggle
with
was
Wiggle.
fun.
Yeah,
Wiggle
I know.
was
I
fun.
thought that was fun. Because
Yeah.
it's a fun
The
song.
monkey
Like,
was
shake
over
it.
with us.
Yeah.
Who
I
is
love
the
it.
monkey? Is it just
It's
like
his
his
NFT, and it's like a real life monkey NFT now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Bombay, I think
Yes.
his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? A little character to add to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wiggle, lots of twerking, lots of booty
Yeah.
shaking.
Yes.
Yeah. I just remember looking over at Beck and I was like, God, you're hot. She was like, she was doing this like handspring twerk.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, bitch, I've never seen you do that.
I told
did
you,
this come from?
you just do whatever.
Run off the adrenaline, I guess. And
Yeah.
you probably
The adrenaline was crazy.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to go like while I had energy at the beginning. I wanted to do a handspring, definitely.
Yeah.
Go up and then wavy legs.
Yeah.
But because it was Wiggle, I just like, fuck, just twerk upside down. Like, shake your leg.
I didn't know you could do this.
So the first time you seen Snoop in person was on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, remember he
When
came on the
walked
same side.
on
Okay.
the same side as us.
So
and
he
then
did his
just walked right
entrance.
next to us.
So he went first, and then I think, his security went first, then Snoop Dogg, then Dr. Bombay, and then
Yeah.
we followed
Yeah.
on stage.
What was that? You know when you see people on TV and then you meet them in person and they're bigger or smaller than you ever thought they would be? Was he
No.
what you thought he
yeah.
would be?
Yeah.
Yep. Tall.
Tall.
Lanky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what
They
I
look
thought.
exactly the same. Like just, yeah.
Just, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And when he came over to you when you were performing, what was that like?
You talk about yours.
I don't know.
I feel like there's something here when Daddy's like, you need to talk about your
because I got my ass slapped.
Yeah,
So
you did.
when I was at the front on the other side, I remember like it's just so quick. I remember I was already just dancing, and I see him looking at me, and he's looking at me, and he's walking this way, singing towards me. So I'm just gonna go with it, and then I turn around, and I'm gonna just shake my ass in front of him. And then he starts laughing. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just do a little twerk, like to the beat. Boom, boom, boom.
That's the best video of that.
And then I was just like on a high afterwards. I'm like, I can't believe it. He slapped my ass. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
This is even funnier because talking about that article, it's like, this might be something that will happen.
I was gonna have that kid after 18, you're right.
I got my booty slapped.
And I remember, like, we were looking at each other as that was happening. I was in, like, this double knee hold, like a sore knees,
Yeah.
spinning around. And as I'm spinning, Snoop's like, yeah. And Beck's ours, and I'm like, just a smile on my face. And Beck's like,
Yeah. It's just like a party. And we're
Yeah.
looking at each other like,
so much fun.
Oh,
I
that's
was like, I'm so proud of her.
the things like Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just once in a lifetime opportunity,
Yeah.
right? And Dani, there's a picture going around of you with the money gun.
Yes. I like that moment for me was like a full circle because I remember talking to Beck. We got to kind of choose what song we wanted to be at the front for.
Yep.
And I said, I don't care like what song. I can be at the back the whole show, but for I Want to Fuck You, I'm on that front floor.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, because when I was a stripper, like that was one of my stage songs. Like, you know, it's just a typical strip club anthem.
Yeah.
And like from dancing and that to the club, I was like, I just want to be like on that front pole. And I wasn't expecting anything. Like, you know, we weren't expecting Snoop to interact with any of us really. And then I was like in an inside leg hang and I was upside down. I could see that I was on the big screen. I'm like, oh, look at me up there. And then I came down and like Snoop's like right next to me and he's like starting to sing I Want to Fuck You. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to like give him some booty action. And then he's like making it rain on me. And I was like, oh my God. Like I had this moment. I was like, I've gone from like stripping to this song to then even like choreoing, like teaching to this song.
Yeah.
To then like Snoop Dogg singing this song to me
To
while he
you.
makes
He's
it
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah.
He's giving you his Snoop dollars.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my God. And like the crowd when
Yes.
Snoop interacted with any of the dancers
Yeah,
just
they
went
go off.
wild.
Yeah.
So it just like fuels that.
Yeah.
yeah. And he would have been feeding off that then for more interaction, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
the crowd's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah,
Self
that was
energy.
pretty cool.
That was amazing.
Very cool. And it was so funny because my boyfriend and my best friend Amelia, they were in the crowd. And as soon as I walked off stage, I was like, I had these videos of Snoop slapping Beck's ass on the main screen. And then I had Snoop making it rain on me. And they're both like, we're so proud of you.
Whoever would have thought?
Yeah, I know. It was so cool.
But what a full circle moment.
Yeah, it was very cool.
How amazing. Is there anything else on stage that was just like, holy shit, that was amazing? Or anything that surprised you about being on stage?
I thought it was going to be hotter than it was.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a
But
sweaty
it was
bitch.
actually pretty good. The only time for me that I was really sweaty was I forgot to bring my pole towel over. So when we switched sides, I forgot to bring my pole towel over. And I noticed when we were walking, you had yours. I'm like, shit.
Got my towel.
Because you can't put dry hands on or anything. You can't come off and just like clean your pole in dry hands. You had to dance.
We like sexily.
Yeah, you have to clean your pole sexy and just make it a part of it, of your freestyle. So I started at the front. The pole was good. Luckily, it was brass. I just had to go with it. But when we switched, because the back one was chrome, I was like, fuck, this is really slippery. So the only thing that I could think of at that point was just this pole was really slippery. Other than that, I wouldn't be worrying about anything.
Yeah.
And the temperature there was
really
pretty
good
We
air
were
quality.
worried that would be really sweaty, but that was the only one moment where I felt like, and I slipped a little bit when I went into an Aisha. My hand was just slipped, but then I just recovered and kept going.
Yeah.
But
Did
yeah.
anyone have any major mishaps on stage?
Not at our show.
That was like for me, like my only one. I did try to attempt at first an eagle, but because I had new shoes and I normally wear a size smaller, so when I pull my eagle, I'll grab my foot and pull it. But if it's a shoe size that I haven't practiced in, this happens a lot, I'll pull my shoe off.
Oh,
And so I was like thinking, okay, I'm going to pull the shoe. I'm like, going to pull. I'm like, I think it's about to come off. Just let go and just don't
Keep
do
going.
the trick.
Yeah, just roll with
They're
it.
the only two times I felt like that's like a mishap, but
Yeah.
no falls or anything like
No.
really big, apart from when my hand slipped in the Aisha, a recovery.
Did
But,
you feel
yeah.
pressure to do tricks?
no.
Not really. Yeah.
No,
No.
because like his backup singers and like Dr. Bombay and stuff they were also obviously on stage, so they would come over and like interact with us as well. So it's kind of hard sometimes when you're like upside down to be interacting with people. So
Yep.
we were like, doing like body rolls and
Lots
like
of rolls.
having like a little dance party with them when they'd come over. So I feel like we probably end up doing more dancing than tricks.
Yeah.
Given you're on stages, was there much floor work or was it all on your feet dancing?
We did a little
A
bit.
little bit here
Yeah.
and there.
I didn't do too much floor work, kind of just when I was coming out
No.
of tricks. But we were allowed to. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't off limits. And at the other shows, a lot of the girls did heaps
Even-
of floor work.
Yeah.
Could you travel off the pole or did you have to stay on the stage?
You could go off.
Yeah, obviously
Yeah.
not like walk
In
up
front
next
of
to
him.
Snoop.
Yeah.
But
We
like,
had to
just a general vicinity.
around. Yeah, we had to keep in mind, like Dr. Bombay with his outfit. His
See.
vision was just literally straight, so he couldn't see the side of him.
Yep.
So we had to keep in mind when we're dancing around them, when they're coming over,
Yeah.
try not to hit them. And then-
Don't kick Bombay, Dr.
Yeah,
Bombay in the
literally,
head.
Literally.
That's funny.
And I found being on stage, like, you couldn't really see the whole audience, if that makes sense at times. Like, most of the time, I feel like you could only really see the mosh pit people
Yeah.
just at the
because of
front.
the lights.
Yeah.
Except for, like, some of the songs. Like, I feel like for Wet, that song, when the lights kept going on and off, you could fully see everyone. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like we were saying, we weren't nervous.
No, I wasn't nervous at all. I had a lot of fun, like, interacting with the crowd
Yeah.
and just like looking out and just dancing as if I was, because they in the crowd look like they're partying and having a good time.
Yeah.
Especially in the mosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So I mostly didn't look out that way, but I look at the mosh because the energy, I feed from energy.
Mm.
So I felt like, I'll give you energy, you give it me back. and
Yeah.
we'll work together that way.
Even when you're on the back poles, could you see a lot of the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see everything.
Yeah, you see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So once you're off stage, what was that like going, holy shit, that just happened?
We were just on a high.
Screaming,
I feel like
squealing,
we were like
hugging.
squeezing each other the whole time. Like,
You're like, I just need to be touching you. Like, is this
Yeah,
moment
literally.
real? I need some sensory touch here. So did you go back to the dressing room afterwards?
Yes.
yeah, we went
We
back.
took some photos and
Just photos with the girls at first, and then yeah, Snoop Dogg security was like, okay, ladies, and like we didn't actually know if we were going to get to meet Snoop because like sometimes they have early morning flights or they have to leave straight away,
Depending on their schedule.
so we didn't really know if we were going to. But then they're like, yeah, ladies, you can come in, and we were like, okay. We walk in, and the music in Snoop's change room was so loud. Remember that?
he was
just,
another
like,
party.
partying by himself in there,
Ongoing.
just vibing out. Hey?
Just with his weed, just having a good
Yeah.
old time.
Literally. Yeah.
What were those thoughts walking up to his change room that you were meeting Snoop Dogg?
I don't even know.
Or did it happen too quickly?
Yeah, it just happened so quickly.
Yeah.
Like I think we were still on the high, like we'd just come off the stage.
Yeah.
And remember when we went in, we just started dancing with him.
Yeah. We just
So we were just all
danced.
boogieing,
The
like
once you open the door,
dancing.
just all dancing.
And we were
He was
all in
already
this circle dancing with Snoop Dogg.
And it was just you girls and
Yeah.
Snoop?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. And then we all got some photos.
Mhm.
Like got
We
some
had a
selfies
shot.
with him. Yeah, we had a shot.
What does he drink?
I don't know what he was
I
drinking.
don't know what he had because there's options.
The vodka I had was like the strongest vodka I've ever had in my life. Driving home, I was like, Beck, I think I'm drunk.
Yeah, I didn't have a
driving.
shot.
I wasn't driving.
I
Beck
drove.
was
So
driving.
I didn't drink. I had work the next day, so I didn't
You're
drink.
like, I need to be, it's already a late night. Because what time
Yeah.
did you guys go on stage?
It starts at 9.
Okay.
Yeah,
think.
9 or 9:30
Yeah.
or something. So,
Yeah, a little bit
too
after
bad.
9. And then
So yeah, we were just getting photos and hanging out. Then we had another dance, and then I
Yeah.
feel like more of the crew came into the change room, like
Yeah.
all of his like managers, and
Yeah.
then everyone was just in there like having a good time. I feel like he's a man that just enjoys life,
Yeah.
just
like
cruising having
in
a
his
good
own
time.
lane.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Just doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wow. What have been some of the questions you've had about meeting Snoop?
What is he like? I guess like,
Mm.
does he really smoke a lot of weed?
Yeah. Is he creepy? I had heaps of those
yeah.
questions. I was like, no, he wasn't.
I guess
creepy.
now that he's getting older too, it's probably so much easier to label him as creepy.
Yeah, but he
It'd be
wasn't at
no
all.
different to like
No.
Hugh Hefner and young girls sort of thing at that age gap
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, is this borderline a
I
little
think
creepy?
like it's so awesome that he is putting pole dancing on like an international stage.
yeah.
And that he's recruiting local at each
Yeah.
venue
Yeah.
in
Like
each
he could
city
easily
goes to.
just tour with the same people.
Have a
Yeah.
crew, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where that idea came from to put on locals?
I have no idea. No idea.
But I love the concept.
I love
and
it too.
I hope that it's something that will
the other artists will do.
continue.
Yeah.
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 Do many other artists have pole dancers on stage? Have we seen?
Usher does.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's got a Vegas residence,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
So they have resident pollers that do that. There's been like Neo. He has pole dancers in a lot of his videos, like Cardi B. A lot of them have pollers in their rap videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
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 So coming back to those questions, does he smoke a lot of weed?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you smoke weed with him?
No.
No. I had
A lot of
since-
secondhand smoke.
You're like, I was high off the weed.
Honestly, I was like, this whole backstage area just smells.
Yeah.
I wonder how he gets it into, well, he wouldn't be getting it into the country. Clearly he's.
You'd be prescribed it.
Yeah,
I think so.
of course. And in America.
But yeah.
And
I
being
think
so-
during the whole show, after the whole show, with a blunt in his hand the whole time.
just the whole time stoned.
I would be deceased.
Yeah, like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure the last time I smoked weed, I greened out after like 1 or 2 puffs. I'm like, I'm fucked, babe. Come pick me up.
Yeah,
Like, I fucked
Like
up.
when people were asking, did you smoke weed with Snoop Dogg? I was like, I would actually die, I think. So no, I
Were
didn't.
you
It was
even-
already in the air.
Were you
everywhere.
even
It was.
offered?
No.
Yeah.
Which I think is like professional as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah.
You don't just walk in and there's a bunch of joints rolled down on the table to
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
help yourself, ladies.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah. But no, they looked after us really well. Like there was catering for food there
Yep.
as well.
There was farm animals there.
Yeah, you guys mentioned this beforehand. They're like, do you want to go see a possum? It's like, we have that in our backyard.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what animals were there?
I know there were possums, and I was like,
Random.
yeah, cool. I don't
They're
know,
almost
just Australian wildlife.
Mm.
I think he might have wanted to just see some. I don't know,
I wonder if he has that at every show or if that was just
an Australian thing.
or a Queensland.
I think so.
Thing.
I didn't hear of any other.
I guess we've got like Australia Zoo and we've got a
Yeah.
couple of in Lone Pine and I
Yeah.
don't really know what else is in other.
It was so random.
States.
We're like, no, we have possums in our yard every night. We don't need to see.
They steal my dog's food. We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Um.
Oh, another question. People were like, did you get paid for it?
Oh yeah. that-
Everyone thought we just did it for free.
Free. Yeah.
And I was
would
like,
do it for
I would
free.
do it for free. But
Yeah.
I think as well, like the fact that we did get paid, like we're artists, we deserve to be paid.
Yeah.
I think so too. And I think the first time when you said you had booked Dani, and I'm like, are you getting paid for this? Because I know a lot of people, like you both said, I would do it for free. And a lot of people would 100% just to live that experience.
Yeah.
But you are artists. You
Yeah.
are there to perform.
Mhm.
I think it's great that they're not taking advantage
Yeah.
or the fact that people
Yeah.
would just do it for free.
Because you do
Yeah.
hear about that a lot in performing arts and shows, and people just do things for free. But yeah. Really grateful we were paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think they're all the questions I have. Have there been anything else that you guys have been asked or that people really want to know about? I seen somebody ask you, Dani, how do I like get to that experience like you, or how do I get to
Yeah.
that point? What would you say to people?
I think you just have to be like open to experiences like that. Like you have to keep your mind open and honestly just be yourself. Like that's the biggest
huge.
thing. I feel like people just try to copy other people's styles, or just because you like someone else's style doesn't mean that that's your style.
It doesn't mean that that style looks good on you either,
100%.
and that's okay.
Yeah. And I feel like both you and I, Beck, have like danced our styles since, like, definitely I haven't always danced this style. Like, it did take me a good few years of pole dancing to work it out.
Mm.
But once I found it, I just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I've never really done crazy hard tricks or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
I've always stuck to my sexy style. And, like, people know me for that now.
Mm.
And same for you, I feel like. You do hard
Yeah.
tricks, though, but.
I feel like with style, and like, I think if people want to figure out a way to get there, is to just move and embrace moving to your favorite songs. And then every now and then, if you do personally want a challenge, you can do it to something different, or you can try to embody something, a move or trick that you see that is influential or that you find that you want to be like, but use that as a way of learning, but then apply your style to it and just
Yeah, I love
embrace
that.
how your body moves, how you want to move, and what makes you want to move.
and try that in class as well.
Yeah, and just maybe even like when you're training trick, I do this at when I teach. I get my students to, instead of just doing a climb, I go do anything at the beginning, whether it's a jump, a pirouette, a dance, or dance for 1 minute, I don't care. Then go up, do your climb, come down, and then I want you to come up with something else as well to sort of learn how to come up with something that their mind wants to on their own in that moment.
And explore.
Yeah,
Mm.
explore.
Yeah, I love that. Because most people, even if you're an experienced pole dancer, sometimes the idea of freestyling for 7 songs could be really
Yeah.
daunting.
Yeah.
Freestyle is an art in itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's amazing. And I know some of our instructors here will be like, I'm going to teach you this combo, and then I'm going to press shuffle on a random playlist. And it's really great because we have shared Spotify. We have Spotifys on all our devices. So all our instructors have their playlists on it. So it's let's get some Chelsea music up or some Dani music. I'm pretty sure your playlist is also on there.
Yours
Beck.
is. I put it on there.
Yeah, cool.
I listen to your playlist every day.
And I was scrolling through before, I'm like, Ragdoll. Oh, I'll go listen to this.
I also think, to answer your question about like how people can do things like we did, is like just put yourself out there.
Mm.
Even when you think you're not good enough. Whether that be enter a comp that you don't think you're good enough for
There
yet.
were some great pole dancers, like technically great pole dancers who auditioned for this.
Oh, there were
Like-
people who I would consider elite polers that didn't get in. And I'm like, whoa. And, you know, like it's just the right things happen to the right people at the right time. I fully believe in that.
Yeah. And it was an opportunity, I think, just putting yourself out there for those opportunities. There were a couple of girls here who were like, I'm just, both to your point, I'm just going to do the audition.
Yeah.
Because at least I can say I've auditioned for Snoop Dogg.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I almost feel sorry for Nicole DePaul on how many auditions she must be watching.
Yeah.
It would be such a hard job. Such a hard job. But yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share before we
I don't think so. I feel like we've
shared it all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say thanks to Dani for telling me about it and also sharing the experience.
Yes, I had the best time with you. I just want to
Cool.
squish
Like
you.
it's, you know, you can say it with your best friend, you've done this and that, but like to say I dance
Literally. And
for
all the
Snoop
videos
Dogg.
we have. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying that random people just started sending you videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People
After it.
that we didn't. Yeah. People in the crowd that we.
I didn't even know. People like, oh, we found you on Instagram. Like, here's some videos we took of you. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's like, I'm so glad you could find me and I wasn't in Instagram prison.
Oh, I am always an Instagram person.
I know we just got back out of Instagram prison every
Nice.
time. I don't know how many things I have to bloody delete to get
I
there.
don't even
but-
care anymore. I'm like, I'm going to post my ass.
Yeah, I was going to have my booty all over there. I danced on stage with Snoop Dogg. I'm allowed to share my ass on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both, Dani and Bek, for joining us today to talk about your Snoop experience. I've loved like diving into all the things Snoop Dogg. If the listeners want to find you, what are your Instagram handles?
I'm ragdoll_pole dancer.
Nice.
And I'm Dani.O_dance. I'm always shadow banned, so you'll really have to type in all of those little bits.
And check. I would recommend with Dani's one because she's shadow banned. What I do is just check account, tags, and then each tab because I think in tags someone else has tagged you, the lady who did your makeup, and it comes up.
It comes up.
So that's the best way.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
little side notes. I didn't know this. The shadow ban thing is just
Fine.
ridiculous.
Too hot
But-
for Instagram. Anyway.
Too hot for Instagram. Instagram can't handle this booty.
Thank you for having us, Steph.
That's all right. I've enjoyed it. And thank you for listening. If you love this episode, please take a screenshot, share it with your pole besties, and tag us all if you can find us all on Instagram and tell us what you loved about it. We would really love to hear. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you soon.